Hello everyone, Austin Sugar here. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to be covering a game that is incredibly near and dear to my heart, you might say. The point is, this game is freaking awesome, and I'd consider it my favorite game of all time, and it will probably remain so until maybe mid-October of this year, but more on that later. For now, let's just sit back, get relaxed, and get immersed.
In your wickedness, you have broken the ancient commandments and crafted a bond with one of the light. Our laws are clear. They demand you be eternally imprisoned. As for the impure child, she must be kept from the path of the dark arts forever.
Ladies, gents, and in-betweens, I'd like to personally welcome you to Let's Play...
Bayonetta.
In a universe of light and dark, where perception is reality.
Long since erased from the records of time, there once existed two European clans who served as overseers of history for the powers that be. The Umbran Witches, dwellers of the darkness, and the Lumen Sages, controllers of the light. The clans paid each other great respect, and their efforts to maintain the balance between them defended the just passage of time. Yet one day, that balance was toppled.
I mean, you want to talk about getting into a game and starting off strong. We're on a clock tower, falling from a cliff, fighting these bird things. What exactly are they supposed to be again?
The once harmonious clans fell into disagreement and stoked the flames of hatred against each other, resulting in an era of strife. The conflict between the Umbra and the Lumen threw all of Europe into a chaotic loop of battle, ambush, assassination, and casualty. It was truly a gruesome war. Despite the tremendous radiance of God shining upon them, the Lumen Sages were gradually weakened by the assault of the secretive Dark Witches. Years after the balance was lost, the war had ended in the Umbran Witches' favor.
So I'm sure they'll get relatively into detail eventually on the story, so I'm not going to bother covering it too much here. But just follow that we are playing as one of these Umbran Witches that the narrator just spoke of so fondly. And there's a random dragon thing there. The situation here is ridiculous. This game is ridiculous. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bayonetta at its core.
Their victory was short-lived. Fearing the witches' dark abilities, humans began to condemn the remaining Umbran. They launched the witch hunts, rounding up the battle-weary witches with little resistance and subjugating those who wished to continue the struggle. Human faith in the miracles of their god pushed the witch hunts further, and soon the Umbran witches, keepers of the darkness, were extinguished from the earth. All but one.
It looks like Humpty Dumpty's taking his last fall. Even old Eggman the Destroyer gets scrambled in the end, right? You know, I still don't get why the hell you drag me out here for these things. I just drop off the merchandise. Hey, bet you can't guess what today is.
I am the way to the city of woe.
Reading the good Lord's book ain't gonna do much. People been waiting for this asshole to get whacked for ages. Please. Hell, look around. There's no love lost for old Humpty Dumpty. But you gotta keep the outfit happy. We don't take care of him, they take care of us. And I prefer my shoes made out of rubber, not concrete. But hey, it's that kind of town. Without good-hearted souls like us to put these bastards 6 feet under, where'd society be? Of course, the pay's not bad either. Jesus, you really get into this shit, don't you? If it were me, I'd be praying he ends up barbecued. Or at least sunny side up. You can keep praying, but the only way this guy's meeting the Lord is if God's hungry for breakfast. Speaking of hungry, we done here? My kids are baking me a birthday cake tonight. Cute little fuckers, I tell you what. Well then, adios. What the fuck? They're here? For this douchebag? Ah! I hate this damn light. I can't see a thing. Oh! But they're there, ain't they? You hearing me? You can see them, can't you?
I see them. They are instruments of God, descending upon his heavenly rays to earth.
Oh my God!
Dear Lord, grant us guidance, and keep safe the souls of our loved ones for all eternity.
You look tired. Let me tuck you in.
Oh, shit! Forgive me, Hitman! I didn't mean all that Humpty Dumpty shit! I swear!
Next time you want to lay hands on me, you better make sure I'm dead. Now move out the way.
Rodan?
If it ain't my good buddy Enzo, how about you get out of here? You die, and I'm gonna have to go back in that hole chasing after the money you owe me.
Do you naughty little angels deserve a good spanking?
Beautiful. Bayonetta.
This is cheeky. Throwing me these cheap toys.
Don't worry about quality. I've got quantity. If you're just gonna watch, I'm putting you to the work. That was your last call. No more shots from me, Bayonetta.
on dancing.
The Umbran Witch Bayonetta. What a tease. So getting started here, we can see that Bayonetta is very similar to your typical God of War or Devil May Cry in appearance. Combat-oriented game, you got a kick button, a punch button, and just a gun button, but I rarely ever use that. Your job? To make use of all these different arsenals, depending on what order you push buttons in, if you have a little space in there as well, and just making your combat flow together like a beautiful dance, because that's really what the combat does feel like. So many options, so many different ways to play, and I'll be trying to cover as many of those as I can as we go along. So, first things first here, let's just look at the core mechanic here. There is a dodge button, that would be the right trigger on the 360 game. If you dodge at just the right time, you'll enter Witch Time, a period in which everything slows down except for you, that is to say, you're moving faster. When you're in Witch Time, every one of your attacks will have that kind of stun lock punch to them that otherwise your only most powerful attacks would have. From here, you can gain the upper hand on your enemies, which is a really nice reward for being able to properly dodge attacks. It's a nice incentive to also be able to, shall we say, tease your enemies and bait them into getting an attack so close just to dodge them, enter Witch Time, and totally own them. I love it. As you can see, the angels here are dropping these little halos that kind of look like the rings from Sonic, so we'll go ahead and just collect those because collectibles are shiny. These little flying guys, this shouldn't be too much of a problem. If you need to, spinning the control stick around and pushing either the punch or kick buttons will allow Bayonetta to get into this sort of breakdance, whatever you'd call it, gunslinging mode. Here we go. Just be careful to always watch your back when you do this. You can always dodge out of almost anything. Dodge canceling is entirely a possibility in Bayonetta. You know, some people prefer games where your characters have weaknesses. I'm actually one of those people. But in a game where you're playing as an overpowered badass like Bayonetta, you don't need weaknesses. So, you're never married to an attack. As you can see, we can just flow from one thing to another. Really, the big key to Bayonetta is getting used to all these weird attacks and all these weird attack patterns that you can pull off. They all look stylish, they all look fun, they all look sexy as hell, might I add. And really, that's what Bayonetta's all about, is just having fun with yourself. And that's, I guess, why it stands out as one of the best games ever.
I'm not dead yet! You can't take me like this! It's against regulations, I tell you!
I really do love the sense of humor in this game, because one thing you'll find is that Bayonetta is all about...
Ah! Damn it, who did that? I just bought the damn thing!
Haven't you figured it out yet? There's no quarter for you in this world.
attitude. It's beautiful. The amount of attitude and sass that this game holds out. Now, don't worry if you're not really following along. This game does a really good job of confusing first-time viewers. If this is your third, maybe fourth time watching through this or other LPs, maybe you'll be following this along. But, you know, this story is not exactly the most direct with itself, we'll say. It's no wonder that oftentimes the story is the only part that reviewers ever criticize about this game. And I think, yeah, if anything, it would have to be the story. Yeah, whatever. We'll get into that. I'll try to clarify everything so that your viewing experience is about as clean-cut as we could possibly get. But in the meantime, let's just finish this guy off and get a rank. More on those later as well.
Radon should be paying me for even touching these toys.
You have any idea how much this is gonna cost to fix? How the fuck do I always get wrapped up in this shit?
Engine still purrs nicely. Now, about this little thing you've been looking into for me, Enzo. Let's have a quick chat.
See? This is why I told you I was going home. I just got held up in the air by some invisible things, and you want an intelligence briefing? It never never stops with you!
You keep bellyaching like that, and you're liable to wake Eggman from the dead. And I don't think either of you would like that.
Ah!
Catch you later, Bayonetta. Something tells me you're gonna need a rush on our special project before this shit hits the fan.
Wait, Rodan! What about Eggman?
Such a popular chap. I bet they hate him down there as much as you did when he was up here. We just need to make sure he won't come crawling back when they kick him out.
Nothing a flower bed can't fix. Fill her up.
You heard the man. Finish up in 5 minutes or you're walking home to your cake and candles.
What? Don't you leave me here!
So in the loading times, you can actually practice your moves, which means, yes, that's right, the loading times in Bayonetta are fun.
You want to touch me?
Oh, what a day! I'm screwed! Ah! It's gonna take every cent I earned on this charade to pay for the damage. I tell you what, if I can see them bastards that did this to my car, forget about it.
Enzo, the road. Pay attention.
How can you be so calm? You're still getting screwed in all this too. Of all the low-life scum in too deep in this town, I've never seen one get wrapped up in a fight with God's messengers. Dressed like a nun, too. When you end up in the afterlife, that's not going to be pretty.
I can't help it if I like the little outfits. The toys are nice, too.
Hey, 20 years ago, you woke up stuck in a casket at the bottom of a lake. All you can remember is that you're a witch. But now, you're stuck because you gotta sacrifice our halo-wearing friends every day or they'll drag your ass back down to hell. I know I thought I got screwed, but being forced to slap around the divine for a living, it's really getting screwed.
If I needed a biographer, you wouldn't be my first choice. I see to the funeral. You get me the information I asked for. That was our deal.
Come on now! Look at my poor car! I'm working for free after this! At least let me get a drink at Rodon's before you start drilling me. The info I got is good. It's gonna get you close to finding the other stone in the pair and figuring out some of that lost past of yours. I swear. After jewels instead of cash, just like a girl. Jesus, can't you take a joke?
Enzo, someone's given you a present. Too bad. I can't stand bugs.
Huh? What the fuck?
You?
What's the matter, Bayonetta? All that sleeping made you soft.
One thing I think you'll find almost immediately with this game is that you are constantly, and I mean constantly, thrown into the most absurd situations you could ever possibly hope to imagine yourself being thrown into in a game. For example, now, we're on a plane that is currently about to smash into a building. Luckily, we're in kind of like a perma-witch time right now, so time is slowed down, the enemies are moving slowly, everything should be good right now. What we need to do is we need to perform 3 torture attacks before we smash into the building in 3.5 seconds. How do we do this? It's really quite simple, actually. You can see up in the top left, right underneath the green health bar, there is a magic meter. As you do attacks without getting hit, so successive attacks without any sort of mistakes in between, being perfect, you might even say, you end up fueling up that magic gauge. And when you have a full bar up top, you can activate a torture attack, which is basically the most gruesome way you could possibly finish off an enemy if punching, kicking, shooting, and whatever the hell else we can pull off with the other weapons we're going to be getting as we go along this adventure aren't enough. We can now do this as well. So, let's just start building up this magic gauge. Be sure to dodge everything that comes your way. And with 2.5 seconds left, let's pull out our last Bloody Mary and... Nasty. Don't expect me to get platinums this whole game.
Those assholes sure know how to get attention. Even perk the ears of the hotheads down home.
You don't say.
It's getting harder and harder to tell the worlds apart. Human world. Inferno. Paradiso. Who can tell the difference?
Even harder with Purgatorio in the middle. Fight long enough in there and you'll really lose sight. Why the sudden interest in metaphysics?
It's a balance, right? Even if some of them like messing around with the humans, we've all got a stake in the status quo. But people keep fucking around like this, the Book of Revelations is gonna look like Mother Goose. Heaven and hell are gonna go straight for each other's throats.
Heaven and hell can tear each other to pieces for all I care. I've got my own problems to worry about.
Something's up. Everything was a bit too brazen, and Enzo's tip makes the timing too perfect. This reeks of a setup. Someone in one of those lost memories calling you out. I got a little present for you. These babies are special. Built from an alloy the devil himself would kill to get his hands on. Don't break these, 'cause they're one of a kind.
Calling me out. I don't go in for strange offers. Then again, I'm getting a little tired of these weaklings they keep throwing at me. Maybe I should aim for something a bit more high class.
Pounding them down tonight, baby. Not to butt into your affairs, but I'm pretty sure you got somewhere better to be. The guys you're up against aren't the type to wait for you to finish a round. Enzo, her drinks are going on your tab, buddy. You deadbeat motherfucker.
And with that, we've finished the prologue chapter to Bayonetta. The game in total has 16 chapters, so it's a fair length for your typical spectacle fighter.
I should have been a pole dancer.
Do not expect me to be good enough to keep up this platinum rank crap the whole time. I cannot do that. I'm sorry. Go find your non-stop infinity climax perfect runs later. I'm just here to showcase the game as best I can. This chapter was probably one of the most dialogue heavy. Obviously, it's a prologue, so to introduce everything they want to introduce, there really isn't much gameplay here. But the gameplay to cutscene ratio quickly becomes 50-50. Maybe it'll end up being 25-70 by the bulk of the game. I'm not really going to get too much into the core mechanics in this part then, because there's going to be so much time for me to do it elsewhere. For now, just know that this is just a taste of things to come, because this game has a really nice knack for always blowing your mind at every turn. Next time, we're headed off to the Angels' Metropolis, the city of Vigrid. See y'all then.